Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered! Today it's going to be a Patreon cast. For those of you who subscribe to me at patreon.com/FalconPaladin for at least $1 a month, you're going to see this way before anybody else sees it, other than other patrons. So again, falconpaladin.com/FalconPaladin. It's going to be Sharp versus Bisu here on Fighting Spirit from the year 2015. Top right-hand corner, we have the orange Protoss player. It is Bisu. And on the top left, it is the blue Terran player. It is Sharp. I forgot to check. We are on fastest. Okay. I am so paranoid about fastest versus faster. The difference is minuscule, but if you really pay attention, you can see it. And people complain about it if I cast an entire match on faster, so I try to make sure that we're on top of it, alright? Alright. So this is the... Boy, is this the first one? I think this is the first thing that I'm casting after the channel goes Brood War only. And I start a second channel for my StarCraft 2 stuff. So if you're here trying to figure out what happened to Falcon StarCraft 2 content, it's over on another channel right now. This is going to be 100% StarCraft 2. You don't have to be worried about the Brood War stuff anymore. If you are one of the few people on planet Earth who love Brood War and love StarCraft 2 like I do, then I'm sorry. You're going to have to keep track of 2 subscriptions from now on. But, I mean, hey, there's worse things, right? I suppose there are. Anyway, gateway into an assimilator here from Bisu. Going for Ye Old Supply Depot and a barracks is Sharp. Both these players are incredible. Both these players are very scary. Still competing at a super high level here in 2020. 2015 doesn't seem like that was that long ago, but by golly, 5 years. Ugh, if you had told me when I was younger, when I was like, 10 years old, that 5 years is nothing, I would have just laughed in your face. But boy, it's nothing. It really isn't. I know a lot has changed in the last 5 years in your life and in mine and everything else, but it just doesn't feel like ages ago like it used to. Anyway, can we red versus blue this? No, because it was a custom game instead of a ladder game. Probably a practice of some kind, I guess. Anywho, PvT stuff. We're going to see a lot of tanks. That's for sure. Definitely going to see some Goliaths, Vultures. That's pretty much it. Science vessels. Terran in this matchup is fairly well constricted. There's not a lot they can do to force the issue against Protoss. There are builds that do rely on bio pushes, like strong bio pushes with stim and +1, that just try to straight up kill the Protoss before they get out too many Dragoons or before they get out Storm, right? Storm's the bigger problem there. But for the most part, if you just want to be safe and you're going against a really, really scary Protoss player like Bisu, you just get the tanks, you get the Vultures, you move into the thing that is going to work when trying to deal with him. And then from there, if he switches into carriers, sure, we go Mass Goliath. But until then, it's going to be siege tanks all the live-long day for Rendo. Factory before expansion. Same thing from Bisu, too. Bisu went Cybernetics Core before expansion. So we are both feeling... There we go. We're both feeling a little bit wary. We haven't been able to scout the other player yet. We don't know if it's a one-base opening from the other player. So we're one-base opening, which is a little bit strange, but that's how StarCraft works sometimes. Is you make your guess, you kill the scouting probe. No, Bisu's on top of it. Why did I even malign Bisu by saying that probe was going to die? That probe took like 5 points of damage, and that was it. And it's already regenerated all of it. Okay, well, Dragoons are coming. Singularity charge is just about done. I mean, I don't know. Spider Mines are going to be the thing to deal with these early Dragoons that are definitely going to show up here from Bisu. Although, pulling them back... Wait, hold on. Where are you going? Taking a roundabout path. The SCV does scout in and see it is a one-base serve for now. Although there is an expansion coming up in the natural base for the Protoss. Let's see how Sharp responds to this. He's going to get Spider Mines up, but he's going to basically force Bisu out of here until he's got detection, is the problem. Also, there's a siege tank. So a siege tank and a few Marines can basically force the Dragoons away. The Dragoons will get some hits off as they're kiting. This is the traditional setup here. But the Dragoons can't engage. They can't straight up come into this, or they're going to have a bad time. There's my Vulture. There's your Vulture, and there's your Spider Mines. So you're going to show up, make a very big show of tossing down Spider Mines to keep these stupid Dragoons away. They're getting damage done. They're not even taking... Well, I guess this one is fairly injured. But yeah, Spider-Mine on the bridge. Maybe a Spider-Mine up here would be pretty good too. But now is the time I think you can expand, and he is. He's building the command center inside the main base. He's a little bit too afraid to do it on the low ground right now, which is going to lose him some time, but it'll be okay. Sharp's a very, very good Terran player, and he's going to give us a good showing for sure. Robotics facility coming up. An observatory is your priority because guess what? It was Spider-Mine was the first factory upgrade, first machine shop upgrade from Sharp, and he forced you into that. So I guess that is something you can control if you're a Terran player, is what you decide to research first at the machine shop. Is it siege mode? Is it Spider-Mines? Is it speed? Whatever you choose there is going to basically force the Protoss player to get something faster, right? Singularity charge, faster. Detection, faster. More zealots, faster. But from there, it's just pretty much going to be tanks and vultures and maybe a couple Goliaths to deal with arbiters and detection and whatnot. So there's your armory for the upgrades. A bit of a Maynard transfer down to the natural base here. The timing is pretty darn good for Sharp because, again, he's a great player with a really good resume. APM floating around 300 at the moment, which is about the average. I had somebody ask me that the other day. They said, Falcon, what's the average APM in Brood War? And I was like, I mean, I guess 300, just because anything lower than 300 feels a little bit slow and anything higher is a little bit fast. So 300 is about where the pros tend to be. There are exceptions, obviously. Some play a lot faster, some play a lot slower, but that tends to be the norm, at least from my experience. See, look, detection, Dragoons, Spider-Mine's getting cleared out. This is going to be a game-long endeavor here for Bisu, is clearing out Spider-Mines that are placed all over the map. That said, don't really have a roving band of vultures out right now. The vultures are back home defending in case some zealots show up. A little bit worried. Academy on the way for the ComSat. I'm guessing just in case there are Dark Templar that show up out of nowhere, because boy, is he not scouting at all. He had an SCV in here earlier, but he hasn't scouted anything since. Citadel of Adun coming up, which could be Dark Templar at some point, but probably just going to be for Zealot speed. And maybe for High Templar with Storm. We have seen Storm used against traditional mech strategies here, and it's been pretty good. Especially in the hands of somebody like Bisu, where it can be really good. So a couple Goliaths out. As I've said for a few times now, Goliaths do have more damage output than Marines do. It's just that they're slower and derpier, and so that's the trade-off. They're not as fast as Marines with Stim. They don't shoot as quickly, but they do hit harder. 12 damage on that versus a 6 damage on the Marines. They do shoot faster, but it adds up to more DPS for the Goliaths. So Goliaths are going to be pretty good against the Dragoons and against the Zealots especially. And against air units. So Goliath's not a bad unit at all. Are we just rushing Arbiter here? It sure seems like it. Templar Archives. Stargate coming in. It's like 2 base arbitering right now. Some Protoss players won't do that until they have like 4 bases rolling. And they're like, I guess I'll get Arbiters. Sure, why not? But yeah, this has been a very patient replay thus far. Nobody seems super interested in trying to kill the other player too quickly. Third base from Bisu. As I always say, you want to out-expand the Terran player. You can. You have faster units. You have more freedom to expand more quickly. Terran, a little bit more risky for them to try to take a third base right now. Although he is getting one, again, inside the main base. And protecting it becomes another exercise of just a lot of work. But Protoss, I mean, we've seen games... I always go back to that game of Light versus Flash, where Light's playing Protoss. He's off-racing. And he must have had... What did he do? 1, 2, 3, something like 5 or 6 bases in the first 10 minutes. He was insane on his expansion timings. And at the same time, he's harassing the crap out of Flash, bringing Dragoons in here and there, just absolutely sniping tanks off 2x4x6, keeping that tank count low, out-expanding the crap out of the Terran player Flash, and then eventually, I'm not going to tell you what happens, but man, it's a crazy ending. So if you haven't seen that one, it's one of the more popular replays on the channel. I don't know if it's top 10. I feel like it should be top 10. I don't know what to tell you, other than I feel like it should be top 10. But basically, what it comes down to is search Light and Flash on my channel. I think it's the only game they played against each other on my channel, because I don't think I've done a TVT with them before. But you know what? I'm kind of inspired to do so now if I can find one. Just because Light's Protoss was so good and he knew Flash so well, a TVT might be an interesting experience. So the probe comes in and does get the expansion down. Vulture snipes it, but that's all the probe was here to do, was start warping in that Nexus. That's what I'm talking about. 4 bases At sub 10 minutes is pretty fantastic. That said, Sharp's doing a good job of it too. He's got a third base rolling. He's got tanks on the high ground. He's covering the front door with spider mines. He's got some vision out here too of spider mines to where if Bisu starts moving across the map, he can reposition these units as he needs to. But so far, everyone seems to be doing whatever they want. And yeah, it is going to be Arbiters, man. It is just really fast Arbiter. 10-minute Arbiter here. Stasis coming in. Leg enhancements on the way from the Bisu. And right now, I gotta say we're pretty even. Sharp, the fact that Sharp's on 3 bases already, where Bisu's 4th isn't here yet, seems to be a problem. But again, Bisu's macro decision-making and micro all kind of coalesce into the best Protoss player of all time. And it's hard for me to be like, and then Bisu just failed miserably here. He was not doing super great in the first 10 minutes and just lost. You know what I mean? It's Bisu. We just can't write him off because he didn't have a great first 10 minutes compared to what Sharp was able to get away with. I don't know. That's how I see things anyway. Got ourselves a science vessel in production. Because, you know, EMP is really good. I guess, did I mention science vessels? Technically, you don't need science vessels, but it is so nice to be able to drop the energy and the shields off of a ton of Protoss units all at once. EMP is a great spell, for sure. A bunch of probes getting sniped off there. Oh, the vultures die, but they killed some probes. So it's 60 to 60 workers, which not where you want to be if you're Bisu here. You don't want to have even economy with your Terran opponent. Yes, he's on another base, but there's barely any probes here whatsoever, so it honestly doesn't even count. Observers and Arbiters moving out across the map. Maybe going for a recall. Recall is researching, so it's not quite done yet. EMP on the way, too. I'm guessing that the blue and orange is pretty easy to differentiate, even if you're colorblind. Yeah. Spider mines, like I said, being laid all over the place. More so, I guess, now that Bisu's on the move. Oh! Ow! Loses 3 Dragoons to a single spider mine. This is why everybody hates spider mines. Especially Terran and Zerg, though. Like, one spider mine just wrecking units that cost way more than that one spider mine did. Wow, okay. I mean, if I were those vultures, maybe you path back this way and escape instead of running through the Dragoons and you die all over the place. But hey, maybe that's just me. I'm assuming that Sharp's attention was elsewhere. I love this observer that's just... Let's see, what are you making out of everything here? I'm going to scout you all the live long day. Tanks firing up. Arbiter trying to find a recall position here, but we've got Charon boosted Goliaths. That's not happening, probably. Bisu's at 196 supply, and Sharp's at 146, and this is about right. The bigger army supply is required because tanks are such great equalizers, especially with +2 attack, and +3 is on the way now at 13 minutes, which is just insane. It's really good. Bisu taking another base down the right side, and this is how you do it. This is how we do it. We gotta go 4 bases, 5 bases, 6 bases against the Terran. Zealot gets obliterated. Barracks spotting across the river for extra vision distance because tanks can shoot farther than they can natively see. See these guys? They know what's up. They're wiggling around a little bit. They're hanging out. Big old muscles on their backs. Speaking of definition, I did cast a game on the original client earlier this week. If you didn't actually, well, the week of like September the 28th. So if you didn't see that one, it was Nada versus Hyuk. It was a lot of fun. Anyway, EMP gets tossed down. And yeah, Arbiter doesn't have energy for anything, unfortunately. Science Missile gets sniped out. But there's just so much stuff here. There are no tanks in the mix at all. Bisu's just rolling this. But can't do anything about these tanks that are across the river because they can't shoot across the river, but by golly, they can get shot from across that water for sure. Science Vessel really doesn't want to die. It's here for scouting purposes because it's really, really beefy, but he would have to rebuild that because he doesn't want to keep making Science Vessels, especially since he just lost one a little carelessly, but still. I mean, he needed it for detection against the Arbiter. What do you say? What else can you say about it? 66 to 68 workers. There's actually more SCVs in play right now for Sharp than there are for Bisu. And where is he going to expand? Is he going to be able to expand? He got his third base at a real nice time, but Bisu's expanded twice since then, and he's just not... I mean, he's going to try to take his left side, but the Observer sees the instant the SCVs come over here and make that attempt. So the siege tanks are at +2 attack. And here we go. This is where you just have enough tanks where you don't even necessarily need to siege. You can just kind of steamroll the Protoss opponent, and that is what Bisu is worried about right now. Is there are just enough tanks here that let's just back it out. Let's find a better position to fight from. Tanks are now sieging up in the middle of the map, taking that. There we go, taking that opportunity. And the Zealots roll over. This is why you have vision. You can shut down bases like this. Ooh, that shuttle got sniped. I am going to assume there were High Templar in there because I don't see any on the field at all. And there have been some here previously. My goodness. He's going for it. He's attacking right into these tanks. This is a luxury, by the way, that certain players don't really have. If there are this many tanks, you just can't attack into them, even if you have Ultras. If you're Zerg, you can with Protoss. You're a little bit tankier, a little bit beefier. I've said that term twice today to mean the same thing. It's still not going to work out super well for you, but you can actually get stuff done. Like a big Ling Ultra Army coming up here just gets blocked. It's obliterated. No tanks die at all. It's not a good experience whatsoever. I'm really... Is this a command center? It is. It's like, look, I don't have the time to send the units to deal with this one Zealot that's over here. So forget it. We're just gonna build my command center in the middle of nowhere and hope we have a chance to expand later. I'm really focusing on the front at the moment. I can't say that I blame him, I guess, but expanding is a huge friggin' deal. Oh, and the base isn't even happening. Bisu comes around the bottom side, shuts it down. Okay, look, Bisu, I'm going to say, is in full command of this game. With that said, he's got a giant tank army parked outside of his natural and his main, which is bad, which is why he's got a bunch of gateways down here in this 4th base, or whatever this base this is, 5th base, because he needs it, because it's basically a foregone conclusion that you're probably going to lose your main to a good enough Terran player who can just push you to the point where he's got tanks sieged up and then everybody dies. Ah, that tank sieges up in cannon range. So save it. Nope, can't save it. Cannon dies a second later. Bisu's coming again from the bottom side, trying to get rid of this stuff. But I'm not entirely convinced that he can. He's going for it. Yes. Absolutely true. Trying to Zealot bomb a little bit over here. Arbiter flying overhead. Taking some hits from those Goliaths. Tank count still too high, still too spread out. The +3 is nuts, but at least he stopped the constant shelling on the Nexus. Actually, was there any shelling on the Nexus? I'm not sure there was. I'm surprised this tank can't hit that. Maybe they just really want to kill this pylon first. It does allow the tanks to actually get up here, which is nice. So look, Bisu expanded again. This is what I'm talking about. You have to expand like a Zerg player. Nice snipe on the science vessel, though. That's a lot of gas that Sharp really wishes he still had. All right, so he's abandoning this base entirely, but I guess it's better than... Oh, did we just sneak these vultures over to kill these probes? That is absolutely what Sharp did. Nice job. Wow. He's going to lose... Okay, all right. This is real nice by Sharp. He just positioned himself to where he kills the 3rd base and the natural base and the main base. Not quickly, mind you. This is going to be a slow death, but it's going to be a thing. All right, so the spider mines. Ow. Okay, the Zealots aren't accomplishing as much as they want here. Well, at least they killed a bunch of the tanks anyway. So yeah, this is the new home. This is Bisu's new home down here. We've seen this a bunch of times. His probe count is not healthy. It's at 47. But I just can't help but feel like Bisu's got this thing in the bag. His PvT against anybody but Flash is absolutely astoundingly overpowered. He's beat Flash, right? He's definitely taken games off Flash before. This SCV train transfer is a bit of a worse place, worse time, but, you know, he's got an escort at least. What are these SCVs doing? SCVs are fighting, ladies and gentlemen. Why? I don't know. They're meat shielding a little bit. They're trying to save this base. Look at this Goliath holding the line right now. Vulture. Oh my gosh, it worked. It worked. Natural base for Bisu's gone. The +3 tanks just shelling, again, 85 damage per shot, which is massive. Can he get the main? Like, his army isn't as big as it used to be. Look at him sneaking down to the 6 o'clock. He's like, look, I know your plan. You're going to let me have this base because you know it's mined out anyway. What if I go after some of your newer sources of income? And then you have a bad time. God, I lost another tank to cannons. You really shouldn't do that. Is this tank really in range of nothing? Does he not have the... He doesn't have... The tank's not far enough on the ramp to see. Okay, this game's a little bit crazy pants. Storm finishing off that last tank. It is 189 to 163 supply for Sharp, which does not bode well for Bisu at all. I'm telling you. Look, just move the tanks up. There's nothing here to stop you from killing this Nexus. There just isn't. Is there a recall? I keep thinking there's a recall attempt. Here it is. That's a recall attempt. Recall success. So Sharp immediately gets his command center out of there because, yes, it's probably going to die anyway because these are +3 Dragoons at this point. All right. This is some good back and forth. I got to say, both players taking some hits here. Currently, for the sheer amount of blue on the map right now, Sharp is trying to cover everything. He's trying to be everywhere at once. Bisu's a little better suited for that because he has the recall ability. But if these two bases die, Bisu's dead. That's it, man. This is his income. He EMPs the High Templar after it gets its storms off, so I'm not sure how much it really mattered. Tanks kind of siege up wherever they can. Take a couple Dragoon parting shots, but they need to siege up in range of this Nexus. Sieging up here doesn't really do much good, so we're going to scooch up a little bit, try not to stop in range of a cannon while we're going into siege mode. Oh, here we go again. Sieging up in range of a cannon. This time, he will get saved by himself and his fellow buddies. Bisu coming down south. This is not good. Oh, he recalls right on top of all the tanks. A bit of a Gosu move, a bit of a desperation move, too. He knows he cannot allow this to fall because that will lead to this base falling, and that'll lead to a GG. So he's going to try to hold on to this thing as long as he Protosly can. Oh, the +3 Vultures just wiping out probes everywhere. Spider-Mine's getting laid down. Yeah, helping deal with those Zealots quite expertly. I think the Vultures with better micro could have not had a problem with it, but... Okay, so this is really problematic. There's just a small army here. It's 152 to 94 total supply. There's a stasis. There's a lot of arbiters here for Bisu, honestly, all of a sudden. Probe count, 32. 32 probes. Bisu does not have much of an income, but guess what? Sharp doesn't either. It's one base income to one base income right now. Sharp is trying to take that 9 o'clock if he can. Oh, did he recall in here and deal with all these shenanigans? Okay, so he totally saves his bottom right base, which he needed to do in order to win this game. He loses this, he's done. So Bisu did the thing he needed to do to stay alive. Great victory for him. But now the question is, who can take another base? I mean, Bisu does have the resources now to rebuild this 4th base down the right side. And Sharp, for some reason, is long-distance mining over here. Okay, he's bringing a command center over. He's bringing it from... He built it somewhere over here, I guess. Again, for safety purposes. Bisu doing some cleanup on aisle 6 here. Just trying to find little straggling bits of tank and Vulture that Sharp's left from his previous engagements, and then maybe re-expanding to this 3 o'clock. This has just been so much damage from everybody. Did he screw this up? Can he not land here because of the spider mines? Or the SCVs in the way? Did he leave the perfect spot? He left the perfect spot. Very nice. Why would I doubt Sharp? Come on. He's up 50 supply on Bisu right now. He's doing just fine, thank you. Yeah, Bisu's army here, not great. His saturation, again, on one base. Two bases now. Man, if Bisu comes back and wins this thing, he was one base away from just being dead. Just being dead. Look at how many vultures are on the map right now. This is crazy. He has 151.89 total supply. I really don't see a way for Bisu to win this thing unless he does another great recall over here. Now here's the problem. You're like, hey, but there are spider mines. The entire Protoss army will be incinerated if they try to recall over here. Yeah, but they also do friendly fire splash, so they will kill all of the SCVs. If I was Bisu and I knew this was happening, I might try to do it for fun. That's why there's the EMP machine over here, because a recall would be disastrous for Sharp. Man, more probes dying. Remember when Bisu had like 35 probes? It's worse now. And a lot of the vultures get out. That's what that 3 armor really helps you with. Okay, so Bisu's 2 base into the bottom right. He kept all of his production in the top right, which is massively important. I do like that Sharp went for the simultaneous kill, though. He's like, I'm going to kill your 3 o'clock, and then I'm going to kill your bottom right, and just leave your main alone, because there's no money there anyway. But no, too smart. Too smart in the end. So we're at 26 minutes and 27 seconds. Place your bets. Do you think Sharp has this thing, or do you think Bisu's going to pull it out? Because I don't... Oh, I love this bottom left base from Sharp, too. That's really good. Observer sees it, but can't really do much about it because there's an army in the way. Unless you recall, which, again, you have a bunch of Arbiters. You have at least 2. You know what? You had a bunch of Arbiters. I would actually not be super surprised to learn that most of them are dead. So this is going to try, this is absolutely what we're doing here. We are going for it. We did get spotted by that siege tank, which means this Arbiter is totally dead, because guess what? This. That's why you have tanks in random spots. This is what Sharp's trying to do. He's trying to have vision everywhere. Oh, there's another one, though. Oh, that one got EMP'd. Yes, it definitely got EMP'd. It has no shields and no energy. I guess it could have taken some hits and then recalled, and then lost all its energy, but I don't see any evidence that actually happened. So, dang. We have split the map in half, which just, again, not good for Bisu. You need to Zerg this thing. You need to have more income than the Terran player does, because he's going to make better trades with you all the time, because +3 tanks are disgustingly good. So, I don't know. We've seen Bisu, again, win a lot of PvTs. Not necessarily against Flash, but against a lot of other great Terran players, like Last, like Sack. But Sharp in 2015 really seems to be at the top of his game. He's maxed out. Bisu's at 133 supply, which is bad. Sharp really should just expand here. I can't... Have we ever cast a game where Fighting Spirit is mined out? I'm not sure that we have. Alright, well, we're going for it. EMP on the Arbiter. I don't know that it had enough energy to do anything anyway, but hey. It's cool. Defensive Matrix on their siege tank. More EMPs getting tossed down all over the place. Oh, the Arbiter gets sniped out there, and that's your good game. Bisu taps out. He had one last hurrah in him. He was going to try to take down this bottom left, but no. No, can't do it. Couldn't do it. Sharp comes out on top. Wow, I did not expect that. Wow. All right. So Bisu fans, I'm sorry, but wow, Sharp beat Bisu here. He's just got a bigger army, right? 153 to 73. Absolutely bonkers. What a great, great game that was. I might give it an epic tag just for how many bases died, how low income both players were at certain points in the match. But at the end of the match here, it just came down to retaking this 9 o'clock base, taking the bottom left, and then just having enough army to smash. Sure, Bisu was on 2 bases. Sure, all his tech was here, but he could not live in a world where he was on equal bases against Sharp. It's just not going to, you're never going to do it. It's not going to work. So Sharp bossing it, getting the win. 224,000 points to 197. Ends up outproducing the Protoss player because, again, the Vultures are cheap. You need to make a lot of them anyway, killing fewer than Bisu did. But, again, just outproducing by double will really win you a lot of games. Ends up raising a ton of Protoss buildings there. And, yeah, Bisu, more gas mine, more minerals mine, and more total spent by about 10,000. But you almost need more than that. You just need more. Oh, incredible. Ridiculous stuff. All right. Well, you know what? That's going to be it from me today. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered and a Patreon cast. Go ahead, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw, what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.